Hi, everybody. Today's PlayPosit is going to go over Unit 7, the novel choice. So, an overview of Unit 7 is that in this unit, you're going to choose one of three modern American novels to read and analyze. You're going to learn more about these novels later in the video, but so you know, the titles are The House on Mango Street, The Old Man and the Sea, and A Lesson Before Dying. This novel will be completed over the state's standardized testing window. Your teacher may be out of the office for up to 2 full weeks during that unit. I will likely be gone that entire time, but you'll be working mostly independently because of that. You'll be reading your novel and completing the unit project independently. That doesn't mean you won't have access to me at all. If you email me or Skype me, I'll be able to get back to you. It probably won't be as immediate as it is normally, but I will still have access to email and Skype, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can if you have questions. On the plan, we're going to start and begin the unit at the same time as the AZM2 testing window. We're actually starting this Thursday with Unit 7 with an introduction, and the testing window starts on Monday, so it's essentially over the same time period. The testing window is April 5th through 9th and April 12th through 16th. You're going to see that these 2 weeks are repeated on the plan, okay? So it's a repetition each week. You can see 7.04 starts on both Mondays, 7.05 is on both Tuesdays, and so on. You should work on these lessons whichever week you are not testing. You're not expected to be doing this as you are testing. If you do not have to test, or you only have to test one day, then you just have extra time to work on it. So that's a bonus. So the unit assignments are this PlayPosit. It's going to be 5 points. 7.01 novel choice survey, which is 5 points. And the 7.08 checkpoint quiz is 15 points. And then the 7.11 graded assignment, which is the literary analysis project, and is worth 75 points. The literary analysis project is based on your novel, and you choose which one that is. So you only have to do a project on the one novel you read, not on everything else. And there's a project reflection. So let's see if I can get this out of the way. You're going to choose one project, and you'll read through the 7.11 literary analysis assignment document carefully for more details on each project, but these are your choices. You can do a collage project. You can do an interview with a character, a timeline project, a picture book, a playlist project, an OHS assigned essay, a fictional magazine, what happened to blank presentation, or you can create your own project, which you'll want to talk to me about if you decide you choose that option. So, project reflection. All students will complete this project reflection and submit it with your 7.11 assignment. This is 10 points of your project grade, so you'll want to make sure you include both. You'll see this document in the OHS. So, which novel will you choose? Let's talk a little bit about each of them. You will all be placed in the group for The House on Mango Street. That's the default. It does not mean you have to read that novel. That's just the default of where everybody goes. If you want to read a book other than The House on Mango Street, you'll need to complete the Google survey by Monday, April 5th. Okay, that's important that you get that survey completed so that you get moved into the right group and the lessons all reflect the novel that you have chosen. PDFs are in the online text folder in Unit 7 of each of these novels, so you have access to them in PDF form. For physical copies or ebooks, you'll want to either borrow those from the library or purchase them, but you don't have to do that because you do have access to the PDF. Regardless of which novel you choose to read, you will complete one of the 9 projects we just talked about, and the project reflection for your unit assignment. So let's talk about each of the novels. The Old Man and the Sea is a short novel written by American author Ernest Hemingway in 1951. It was in Cuba, and it was published in 1952. It was the last major work of fiction by Hemingway that was published during his lifetime. It was one of his most famous works. It tells the story of Santiago, who is an aging Cuban fisherman who struggles with a giant marlin far out in the Gulf Stream off the coast of Cuba. In 1953, The Old Man and the Sea was awarded the Pulitzer Prize for fiction. It was cited by the Nobel Committee as contributing to their awarding of the Nobel Prize in Literature to Hemingway in 1954. So here's some pros and cons of the book itself. So most students like that it is really short. It is the shortest of the three novels. There are 3 movies and audio on YouTube related to this book. It is fairly basic, easy vocabulary, and it is, with all of this in mind, it is an American classic. Some potential downsides. It's introspective, modern hero's journey, and it has a lot of personal epic battles, which means there's not a lot of fast action in it. There is a lot of symbolism, and in order to get the book and really understand what the message is, you have to think abstractly. So, A Lesson Before Dying. Get out of there. A Lesson Before Dying is by Ernest J. Gaines. It's his 8th novel. It was published in 1993. While it is a fictional work, it is loosely based on a true story, which is that of Willie Francis, who is a young black man sentenced to death by electric chair twice in Louisiana in 1945 and 1947. The story begins with the murder of Mr. Gropey by 2 black men. An innocent bystander named Jefferson is charged with and convicted of the murder. He's sentenced to death. In his trial, Jefferson's attorney explains to the jury, what justice would there be to take his life? Justice, gentlemen? Why, I would as soon put a hog in an electric chair as this. That statement, that very statement, causes Jefferson to believe that he is indeed a hog, not a man. Jefferson's godmother, Miss Emma Glenn, and Tante, Aunt Lou, the aunt from the local school teacher, asked Lou's nephew, Grant Wiggins, to turn Jefferson from a hog into a man. It's really a lovely exploration of the relationship that develops between Grant and Jefferson. What students like about this is that it deals with engaging social themes and commentary. It's relevant. It's most of the 3, it's most like a traditional novel. There's relatively easy vocabulary with some regionalism. There is a movie version, so that's a nice benefit as well. Some things that students might dislike is dark themes and topics such as murder, capital punishment, racism. It is the longest novel of the 3 choices. It is somewhat slow-moving, and there isn't any audio without buying it. So those are some pros and cons about A Lesson Before Dying. The third one is by Sandra Cisneros. It's The House on Mango Street. It's a 1984 novel by Mexican-American author Sandra Cisneros. It's structured as a series of vignettes. It tells the story of Esperanza Cordero, who is a 12-year-old Chicana girl growing up in the Hispanic quarter of Chicago. Based in part on Cisneros' own experience, the novel follows Esperanza over the span of 1 year in her life as she enters adolescence and begins to face the realities of life as a young woman in a poor and patriarchal community. Elements of Mexican-American culture and themes of social class, race, sexuality, identity, and gender are interwoven throughout the novel. Because the novel deals with sensitive subject matters such as domestic violence, puberty, sexual harassment, and racism, it has faced challenges and threats of censorship, yet it remains an influential coming-of-age novel and a staple piece of literature for many young adults. So some pros of this piece are it's relatively short also and quick to read. It is engaging stories and narrative voice, and it does deal with contemporary issues like race, gender, poverty. There is audio on YouTube. Some students dislike that it is too short and that it is made up of small stories. It's not a traditional plot. They are stories that are put together kind of like a tapestry. So it isn't you don't move from point A to B to C. It's pieces that come together. Some of the stories may be difficult to read. And so, be aware of that. There is no movie associated with it either. So those are some pros and cons about this one. So take all those things into consideration when you are choosing which novel you think will be best for you to read. All right, you've completed the PlayPosit. Short and sweet. And you'll need to take the Google survey in lesson 7.01 before Monday, April 5th to choose your novel. Happy reading!